Hey YouTube, this is Kim. I was going to do this video response on my cell phone, but then I'm kind of talking to my sister-in-law right now about my little twinsy nephews, and I didn't want to mix up with that with this, and also the cell phone only lets me do videos that are like 7-8 minutes long, and I tend to ramble. So I should be at school tomorrow anyways and be able to upload this then. So here I am rambling again. This is a video response to Tiptoechick that was called Just For Fun. I just wanted to say I live in St. Louis. I've lived in the St. Louis metropolitan area my entire life. The way I talk is a little different than most people that live in the St. Louis metropolitan area. I am sure I have somewhat of an accent from it, but when I was growing up, my parents were very, very strict about the way we pronounced everything, and really particular about our grammar. So I'm sure I don't have the perfect grammar now, just because I've hung out with people and fallen into kind of this easy, casual conversation a lot of times. But I'm not sure that the way I speak is necessarily the way to judge the entire St. Louis metropolitan area. For example, my granny, instead of wash, she says that she washes her clothes. And she's from the St. Louis area too. She's lived here her entire life. My boyfriend is also from the St. Louis area. He actually grew up in the city itself, and we both, the particular two words that you mentioned, Ruth and root, as you can tell, we both say it the same way. I don't know how people, I guess that is the way most people in the St. Louis area would say it, because he mispronounces all kinds of stuff, and that's one of them that he says the same way as I do. And I say mispronounce, but see, when we first got together, I started teasing him about the way he said certain words, and when we first got together, he would say, "Oh, well, I have a speech impediment," which then made me feel like I was about this small, like I just poked fun at a kid in the wheelchair or something. And then after being together for a while, I realized he was just using that as an excuse to make me not poke fun at the way he talked. So now, instead of saying he has a speech impediment, he pulls the "I'm an American" card, that basically we can talk however we want, and there's no such thing as true English unless you're from England. So like I said, there's a lot of things that we do not pronounce the same way, but that particular one we do. Personally, the only thing that I have ever said that I think sounds funny, and it sounds funny even to me, and I just can't seem to stop it, so I guess my parents didn't beat that one out of me, is I keep on saying drawer instead of drawer. As you can see, I know the correct way to pronounce it, but I keep slipping on that one repeatedly. And I guess that's just kind of from hanging around my granny too much, because she says things like that, yarn, barn, wash, jar. So, yes. And as far as the greatest movie of all time in the movie theater. When I was growing up, we didn't really go to the movie theater because we weren't really allowed to watch movies for a great portion of my growing up years. And then when I finally became an adult and could go to the movies, I was kind of at the whim of whatever guy I was dating at the time. I went out with one guy who wanted to go see that movie Where the Wild Things Are when that came out, and I caught him crying during the movie. And yes, we were both adults when that happened. I was quick to say that that was not going any farther. I don't mind a sensitive guy, but a guy that's going to take a girl to a movie on the first date that he's going to sit there and blubber through, and it's a children's movie. Yeah, that wasn't the picture I was going for. The boyfriend that I have, he's a keeper. He lets me pick out a lot of the movies that we go see. I wouldn't say that like I'm the boss in the relationship by any stretch of the imagination, but so in more recent years I've had the ability to actually pick out some of the movies and see movies that I actually think are really great. And one of those movies would be The Hobbit. And I know I'm a complete nerd, and I'll be the first person to admit that. I was disappointed with the way it ended, but I think that the graphics and everything were even better than the original Lord of the Rings movies, even though those were really, really well done. And I didn't see them in the theater, but I did see them on DVD, and they were fantastic. The Hobbit movie, I just thought, just surpassed that, and the whole representation of the Gollum Smeagol character just went above and beyond how he was represented in the other movies, how he was represented in the books, in the cartoons that I watched growing up. Well, so we weren't really allowed to watch movies growing up, but there was like a few that we were allowed to watch that were considered allegories to Christian living, and The Hobbit was one of them. But yeah, it just surpassed anything that I really expected it to be, and the only reason why I was disappointed in how it ended because I was expecting it to actually end at the end of the book, and I didn't realize that they were going to break up the book into make 2 or 3 movies. I think they said they were going to make it into. But I'm excited to see what else comes out. I think they did an amazing job with that one. There are several other movies that I think probably did do well in the theater. I just didn't see them in the theater. I think I was a teenager when the new Star Wars movies came out, and if I remember correctly, I saw those in the theater, and I think they were pretty good too. I just wouldn't say they were the all-time best, but I do tend to like those epic kind of movies. I really wish I would have seen The Chronicles of Narnia in the theater. Those were amazing movies. I would have loved to see those in the theater. But from what I can remember of my adult life, I would say probably The Hobbit is the greatest movie that I have seen in a theater thus far. And if that makes me uncool, that's fine. I am a complete nerd, and I am proud to own it. I probably would not be on the spiritual path that I am if I wasn't a nerd. Not to say that everybody on my spiritual path is a nerd, just that I personally, because of my family and stuff, I don't know. I may have ended up on it, but I'm rambling, so I'm gonna cut this one short. Bye. I'll probably be making another video here soon. Laters.